Hello everyone. Did a little intro earlier. Just waiting for my guests to get in here. They pretty much have arrived by now. Once again, you are listening to Interslice. I'm your host, your DJ Aaron Slice, playing you eclectic electronic music from the fringe to the familiar. Tonight for 2 hours, because it is a finale at this point for Interslice. I am leaving town for a little while, so why not do 2 hours? The slot was open. I have some guests that I'm pretty sure could entertain us for about that long. I'll remind you that you're listening to, in the background, a soundtrack from a video game called Streets of Rage, something that had a huge impact on me growing up. I think I spent almost as much time listening to the music in the game as I did playing it, because, I don't know, it's really good. I hope you think so too. And it actually influenced a lot of my venturing into electronic sounds. And eventually I learned what the Sega Genesis was doing under all that plastic in the hardware. Ultimately, it was a sound chip that was a synthesizer, really tiny, capable of doing a lot. Only a few really mastered it. But you know what? I got some guests in the studio that have also mastered sound chips in classic consoles. You guys are piling in as we speak here. Feel free to grab a microphone. I'll fade out the music a little bit here.
How's it going, Aaron?
Not bad. How you doing?
A plus, man.
You're quite a ways from my microphone.
Oh, excuse me. Let me just dangle that over here. How's that?
That works a little better. That's cool. So I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
Yeah, all right. I go by Boosh. I don't know, making chip tunes, music on Game Boys and stuff. Like six years, 2006. How long is that?
Yeah, that's
dude,
that's like 10 years, man. That's crazy.
That's scary. Excuse me. Yeah. So that's me and Boosh. Hey, so.
Thanks for coming in. Any rest of you guys?
Right. I am Vince. I go by Slowscan, and I make music on the Game Boy.
Yeah.
I've more or less been doing it for about 2.5 to 3 years, so a bit newer than others.
And I'm Dan. I go under the handle Peg Mode, and I release music on the Game Boy, Commodore 64, and PC Engine / TurboGrafx 16. and I've only been doing it for a year. I'm the newbie out of these guys.
It's funny, he calls himself a newbie, but he's like, it's insane what this guy is
It's
doing.
evident
More under his belt than me.
he's expressed his fanaticism quite a bit more than the rest of you guys so far.
Big time, big time.
A bit.
Which is cool. It's great to be enthusiastic, especially when you're starting out, because then maybe that's, I don't know, is that your peak right there?
I don't know.
Started your peak? I'm just
you don't
kidding.
know. Yeah.
But no, it's good. And I guess, like when I moved here, I had no clue that there were other people in Alberta that even were into like the same kind of music that I was listening to at home on my video game console. And I think Boosh here was one of the first in town I heard about, and also Ben Nintendo. And I've seen you guys perform at Wonder Bar back in the day.
Yeah. Was that like the first like Alberta, like chiptune show in Alberta with like Gray Screen and like Rodney, like Musasabi? Do you remember that guy?
And, I remember seeing Gray Screen as part of a festival we had locally. He played at, I think it was a New City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was part of Bermuda or something like that. But, I've only been here 7 years. So, what has happened. And it's nice to know that there's a few more people around that are kind of, I don't know, doing awesome stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like just around. Like I'm surprised how many when I got involved with Alberta Chip, just how many not just in Edmonton and like Calgary and Vince here is from Camrose. I was like, really, like Camrose?
Cameras of all places.
Represent.
Well, when did you start the group? Because we kind of just found all each other through a group that Vince started.
Yeah, I kind of started that group in, I want to say like near the end of 2014. No, not that far back. Probably closer to 2015. So, yeah, I started that, and everyone just sort of started trickling in, and we've gotten to do some pretty amazing stuff as a result of it.
Yeah.
Like, we've released a compilation album, we've played a couple shows together, and last Thursday we were at the Tell Us World of Science, the three of us just sort of showing off our music and how we do it, and just talking to the masses, I guess.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Spreading the word.
And that was something I was going to have you guys on last week, but I was in the middle of moving and kind of got stranded out of town. Ideally, it would have been one thing to have you in and kind of promote what was going on at Tell Us World of Science, but it sounds like it went over pretty good anyways with the promotion it did
we
have.
had absolutely zero downtime. Like,
Yeah.
I maybe had like, excuse me, maybe like 5 minutes that I could leave to like go grab water for people, but.
And it was like that for all of us. And I was really surprised. Like you get someone. I had like a demo running with visualization of my work, and I was like, some person would come up and be like, "Oh, I'm really interested." And, they'd talk and be really interested in even in the technical details that I really really didn't expect. And we got a lot of people in. I was really surprised.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, just speculating, but I imagine a lot of people that are going to a place called Tell Us World of Science are a little bit nerdy.
Oh yeah, probably.
So it might have been just, the audience just happened to be there.
Yeah,
and as
works
interested
pretty
as you
good.
wanted them to be.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, yeah. If we did it at the mall, it might have been a different story.
Yeah. There might be curious people, there might be hecklers, there might be just people ignoring like, wow, what's that noise?
My ears are bleeding. You don't know what you get.
Anyway, yeah, so I guess we got a little bit planned for the evening. I think each of you guys brought some semblance of music that you could play, if not live.
Yeah, I'm
Or
kind of getting a lot of that
pre-recorded.
together right now.
Okay. However we're going to do it, I'm not sure. We'll find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels really weird. I'm feeling some kind of impending emptiness on my part, leaving the city. And something's going to be missing in my life for a good little while, leaving here.
I hope you're talking about the radio show.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit weird. I didn't intend for it to happen. It was just something that came up suddenly a couple months ago, and something I gotta do. But stuff happens.
Oh yeah.
But hey, just letting the listeners know, this is CJSR on 88.5 FM in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Around the world, CJSR.com. And the show you're listening to is called Interslice. I'm your host, your DJ, Aaron Slice, playing you eclectic electronic music from the French to the familiar. And after tonight, not for a little while. But maybe someone else will take over. There's always room for other themed shows on the station. There are quite a few time slots open right now. A lot of volunteers are probably getting their show proposals in order. There's probably people that want to get a show, but they aren't volunteers yet. So you can go to cjsr.com, learn how to become a volunteer. And that's a good thing to do in my eyes, I would say. Maybe you won't have time, but you know what? CJSR doesn't require tons of your time. Maybe to listen. Like, you gotta listen 24/7, I think. But volunteer, just do what you can. They're not asking you to be here 7 days a week. Although, I really commend the people that are.
Oh, yeah.
Because there are a few that are just putting in the work. Does anybody have any music ready to go?
Vince, you look like you got.
I'm still kind of putting it all together.
Still kind of putting it all together? That's no problem.
Maybe something.
All right. Real exciting here. Just kind of spur of the moment, but hey. All right.
It's usually the best way of doing it.
Just informal.
Super informal. That's the only way to go.
Also got working on a video game soundtrack, so I could play some of that stuff later. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, this is the song's called 24. Maybe.
We'll just have to do this up here. Alright, we'll take a minute to listen to this. There's some boosh right here. CJSR. that was the song by Boosh. SoundCloud.com/Boosh, A-OK, B-O-O-S-H-A-O-K. Just numbered 24. Most of the songs are just numbered, name numbers.
That's how you know which one you wrote first.
Yeah, if you want to go in order of what song you wrote.
Yeah.
Not necessarily dated or anything, just kind of like, yeah, it's in order.
Yeah, it's in
But what if you like started one and then started another one and then finished the other one later?
Yeah, I'm not very honest with it, to be frank with you. Like, I'm pretty sure I wrote 25 and 27 before I wrote 24, so.
Okay. and from what I gather, too, I've noticed that some songs are just in constant evolution. Like, a song I might have heard 3 years ago has been through 3 or 4 different versions.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I think one is now at 1.4, for sure. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Points for like after every time you.
Yeah, it's like beta and alphas, you know?
I do the same thing too. I'll like make a song, release it on SoundCloud, realize, crap, there's something else I want to do with it, delete the old version, upload a new one, or you're never done making a song.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of the artist's dilemma, I think. You have to find a point where you can just release it to the world and move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Then you can go back after people have enjoyed it, and then you can go ruin their expectations of it again.
I feel like I need to have like a versioning system for my songs the same way that like programmers version their software, like
Yeah.
like Discord version 2.
To get something really ridiculous, like I noted that Apple OS X, which was supposed to be OS 10, for example, they're like 10.9.9.4 point whatever right now, like, because there's like about 35 editions of OS X.
Yeah, they're not just
like, when are they going to get to 11? Are they ever? Never. Just keep adding the decimals on there, no matter how improper actually the numbering system is.
Let's see.
Okay, let's get awkward here.
Oh,
Yeah.
You want to play a song?
Play some music?
Yeah.
I think you have some money.
Okay, who's going to play some music here?
You have
Take
some
mine?
money loaded up? What do you got
Yeah,
loaded
I got, okay, so your name again is Peg Mode, or Dan, Peg Mode, and we got some music here. We can pick a song of yours to play.
Head song, I guess it was that. Yeah, it's right there, 6. Right there. Well, there you go.
Okay. Head Sock? Head
Yeah.
Sock. Okay. By Peg Mode.
Why though?
Yeah, why?
LAN party. There was at a LAN party, and we had this like tube with a sock in it, and we're like, oh, you should name it. Like, I have this one buddy across from me. He's like, oh, you should name your next song Head Sock. And he's just joking. I'm like, okay, sure, why not?
It's whatever, it's a title. It works. I need to fill the space somehow. Release it to the world.
Yeah.
Here's Head Sock by Peg Mode right here on CJSR 88.5. Interslice.
Which letter? Say it. C, J, S, R. Try again. C, J, S, R. Right. Which number? Count. 88. 5. Try again. 88. 5. Right. C, J, S, R. 88. 5.
Hey. This is CJSR 88.5 FM. We just heard from Peg Mode. The song was called Head Sock because somebody just said, hey, name it Head Sock.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, all right. So we played a couple of the artists that we got here today. We got Boosh.
Nah.
Hello, Boosh. We got Peg Mode, just heard from. And we got Slow Scan.
Howdy.
Hi, Slow Scan. You can pull down to the microphone or upwards, whatever. You're going to give us a tune next here?
Yeah, so this one is just called Discord, I guess.
Okay. Here it is. Right here on CGSR. Excellent. That's I'm pretty sure it was just was that a sheep?
It was a
saying,
goat.
It was a goat.
Yeah.
Goat saying CGSR in goat language.
Yeah. I didn't know how to end the song, so just.
That's a good way.
Farm
Yeah.
little sample pack.
It's a cue. It's a cue.
Oh, yeah.
Just use it however you want.
Yeah.
You're listening to CJSR 88.5 FM. This show's called Ninja Slice. I'm your host, your DJ, Aaron Slice, playing eclectic electronic music from the fringe to the familiar Tuesdays. Tonight, 10 to midnight, and also the last show I'll be doing for a while. And I have my guest in the studio here. We just heard from Slow Scan. What was that song called? Discord, right?
Yes.
Right, okay. And that was actually played off a Game Boy. I don't think anybody might actually know that because they're not here seeing it visually. It's not like they're watching CGSR on TV, although that would be pretty cool. You can stream it. You can stream it on Facebook, actually, I think. We do.
Put it on Chatterbait. Get weird. Make some sick tips.
Wherever you want to get the exposure to, I guess, right? So to speak. Anyway, yeah, no, I'd like to thank you guys for coming in. Presumably spending the time till midnight. You've got lots of time to play lots of music, talk about what you do.
You'll have us.
Yes. All right. Let somebody continue here.
Yeah.
So, I guess probably a lot of us could start by talking about how we got into chip music.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So, I guess let's talk to the newbie first.
You
Daniel.
don't want to talk to me? Oh, jeez. Well, I guess for me, one of the for everyone, the big thing about chiptunes is it's kind of like remembering your childhood playing, in some like dark corner playing like a Game Boy or a Super Nintendo or a Nintendo or something, and kind of like bringing that back. I remember, I think 2 or 3 years ago, I heard a few songs by a guy named Hertzdevil, and I was just like blown away when I found out that like it was made solely on just a regular NES or very just limited, and so I got interested in making it myself, like chiptunes and stuff. So I started researching, and I went back to old video games I used to play, and I started reconstructing them from ear, and eventually learning how to disassemble the game itself, and so-called lifting the skirt of the game, I guess, and cheating. But yeah, I use that to learn a lot of the techniques, and I also look at a lot of guys like Bush and Vince here to for techniques, all the new stuff. Yeah, I've been involved in a competition online called Battle the Bits, and it's really been, it's a really good motivator. Like, oh, I gotta submit a piece for this album that they're putting out, so I'll put it out, and it's really good to like have that motivation to do it. And once you put it out, since it's part of a competition, it's a really good place. It's like, hey, like, does this suck? And you get an honest answer. If it sucks, yes. They'll be blunt, but at least it's honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super good to get that kind of like feedback from people that I guess even you're competing with. That
Yeah, like I find even if they're salty about something, or they're kind of being an asshole, like you can. It's still nice to talk to them. And the same thing with you guys. I'm not saying you guys are assholes, but like you can talk to anyone.
It sucks.
Your music is trash, and here's why.
But like you can talk to like anyone who's into chip music or like makes it of any kind, whether they're like they only make it on a system or they put guitars in. I always find it really interesting because you can talk to the people and they're interested in what you're doing, or you're interested in what they're doing, and they totally know like the lingo and everything. I think that's really
cool. The scene
cool.
is like, well, just because it is so niche, the scene is actually so tight. Like,
yeah.
There's like maybe 5 or 6 groups or forums that I'm a part of. But some of these groups, like when you join, they come with like a Google Docs with just like 1,000 names, followed by a phone number and an email, and like a city, like state and country. Like, you can see these people like all on like the map and like who's around you and who's going where. It's pretty cool how tight everyone is.
Yeah.
It's fantastic to see that they're getting to go all over and play these shows at these crazy places.
Well, yeah, there's big festivals now. Like MagFest started off as like an arcade video game festival kind of thing.
Yeah, and they also play a lot of like chiptune.
Now it's just
They
like
have their
people
own
go for the chiptunes, really.
Yeah,
Like,
they have their own dedicated chiptune stage now.
yeah.
Actually, don't they have multiple? Like
Yeah, they do. They have like an open
multiple
mic.
now.
They have
Yeah.
like a secondary stage, an outdoor stage, and like.
Oh, I am behind the times.
Like I think.
Well, at least they had one last year. They didn't have the outdoor this year.
Yeah.
But,
I definitely think like that's evidence. And us being here, chiptunes are kind of becoming more of a thing. I guess.
It's like even like I don't know how much promotion stuff that has nothing to do with video games. Does someone use like an 8-bit style now, or like use
It's like an aesthetic as well,
Yeah,
right?
exactly,
yeah,
right?
whether they had experienced the
But
old games or
those
not.
people
So
are fucking composers. You know?
Man, get this fake bit trash out of there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's what we call it, fake bit, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm not.
Well, that's it. The other thing I was going to bring up too is like, you know, you have this tight knit group, but at the same time, like, you hope it's not too cliquey. You know, you're coming in and
Yeah.
everyone's calling you noob and whatever else.
Well, even the term fake bit, like, I'll be straight up with you. Some of my favorite chiptune artists are like emulating Game Boys on computers.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
no
Yeah.
doubt
Yeah.
about it.
What do you consider fake bit?
If they're not using like the actual hardware.
Yeah.
So like some guy loads up FL Studio, or he bought some like software package on like
Yeah.
Sega. There's some really big things like
Synth or something like
Sega
that.
Genesis
some third-party
FM
VST.
sound type like emulators.
Yeah, for like all the music that at least all the people I know of here in
Yeah.
here in Edmonton or here in Alberta, even all of our stuff is done
Yeah.
for the most part on the
On the
original
hardware.
game hardware
Mhm.
itself,
Yeah.
on the Game Boys, on the NES, or on the C64.
I'm going to admit to something though. My PC Engine stuff is entirely an emulator because the
Yeah.
ROM builder for mine is broken.
You're out of the group.
Kicked out.
I'm just kidding.
Well, the other thing, I think some of the consoles are a little bit harder to hack as far as using their hardware.
Yeah.
if I'm
Oh,
not
yeah.
mistaken.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to get the, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a nightmare.
Like some people have pulled it off just barely, or you know they would actually compose it on like a computer with a whatever kind of program, but it converts it to a language that they can actually turn into a game cartridge.
That's entirely how I write my music.
Yeah.
I write my music using a tracker, which is a sequencer intended to work with computers on the computer. So on like a regular PC, you can download the tracker I have. And then I build a ROM from it that I dump onto a flash cart or like a a video game cartridge that I can plug, say, an SD card or upload my files onto, and it'll play off the real system. I think that, and that's how you guys kind of do it, except minus the computer part. You guys
Yeah.
have your
Yeah.
stuff.
I use a tracker, but it's excuse me, on the hardware itself.
Mhm.
So, in my case, it's and I believe Boosh uses it too. We use a program called Little Sound DJ, which has been around since like the year 2000. I think is when Johan first released it, but the earliest versions of it were trash. Like it would crash, it couldn't save anything, or
My biggest problem with it is just like you're trying to write music and all you have is the D-pad and two buttons, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna write music, and like there's nothing wrong with like like LSDJ itself in making music, but for me it's like it's
the
so
controls
small.
are severely limiting.
Yeah. And without a backlit screen, like it's you're gonna be. It's like, ew, puke. Is that what shade of puke green is that? Like, is that baby shit green or?
Hey, now how were people actually writing it before LSDJ came out?
Oh man.
you guys-
You work with composers, and then a programmer would take it, and then they'd program it for the game, and then they'd work with the composer again to be like, yo. this
So
is
back
what
when they
you're
had to
trying
do
reach.
like basically kind of hand coding, or
Well, there's a really good interview with one of the like really legendary like first big video game composers named Rob Hubbard. He wrote for the Commodore 64 in the early 80s, and there's a really good interview with him online where he's giving a talk, and he brings like the sheet music out, and he's like, his British accent, oh, this is how I wrote my music, and it's sheet music, but then there's opcodes, which are essentially when they talk about ones and zeros in the computer, like that's kind of what they're talking about. It's like essentially like programming in between the sheet music. They had to actually have a giant wall of text and program the sound engine, and it was like that. There's a reason why at least early video game sound like soundtracks and stuff didn't sound as good, because obviously it's kind of limited.
so like the tools were just like not. They weren't able to extract the full potential of it just
they
with
weren't
what was given at the time.
It wasn't.
The tools were just non-existent.
They were
essentially.
non-existent,
Yeah.
and it's like it's I don't know how to describe it's not very intuitive to writing music. Like that guy I mentioned, Rob Hubbard, really amazing music for his time. Like did some crazy stuff, but yeah, especially in the early 80s, you start seeing a little bit more development. Some companies start actually putting effort into their games, because I mean the soundtracks to their games. Because you think about it, like I buy a Game Boy. Am I buying, like in 1989? Am I buying a Game Boy to listen to music, or am I buying it to play Super Mario? Like,
Well, for me, it was both. Like, that was part of what got me started in like excuse me, really falling in love with this kind of sound was my family was too broke to get any other like regular game consoles, so I was playing the Game Boy up until like the early 2000s. And so I grew up with that sound, and some of the video games like the Mega Man Extreme port or to the Game Boy Color, or the Donkey Kong Country port to that, I grew up with those sounds, and that's just kind of what I fell in love with. And eventually I started learning more and more about the sound hardware itself and what it could do, and I felt, well, hey, maybe I can give that a try. And a few years later, here I am.
A few years. Since 2000. Makes us all
There's
feel
a
a
bit
bit
of a
old.
gap in there.
Yeah, a little bit. Anyways, I'll remind the listeners you're listening to CJSR 88.5 FM in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Around the world at cjsr.com. The show's called Interslice. I'm your host, your DJ, Aaron Slice, playing you eclectic electronic music from the fringe to the familiar. Tuesdays. Tonight, we started a little bit early because it is the finale for now. And I got some chip music artists who just happen to be local. That's right, artists. There wasn't just one. There's 2, 3, and possibly a couple more I'm not aware of. I don't know.
Well, there's a few here
There's a
in
few.
Edmonton besides us. There was...
John Hoffman.
Yeah, there's John Hoffman.
There's Marty.
Oh, yeah, there's Marty as well.
Yeah.
There's Ben Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple.
There's a
guys.
couple more. Yeah, for sure. There's always people who pop up.
Enough to have a huge festival for sure. You guys will compete with Sonic Boom next year, I think.
No, man.
Yeah.
All right, maybe we can get some more music here. Who's got something to go?
Well, yeah, something not by any of us, but just to show the diversity of what chiptunes can be once you start putting guitar and vocals over top of it.
Right.
So yeah, the song's called Weird Friends by TTB featuring Pasture Dog, which is actually a pretty sick band if you check them out too, but you know.
Okay, right here on 88.5 FM CGSR Interslice.
That was a Dumbrations in Battle by Saladin. This track was released in 2007. We're here on CJSR, and we got all the Chiptune Alberta people here. We're talking making music on Game Boys, making music on Nintendos. We kind of briefly talked about how we do it, and how we got into it. The last track you heard sounded probably a little bit more lush than the other tracks that you've heard previously. But, yeah, lush, yeah. Real light with that word, but
Well, just how close did that stick to the chip music format?
yeah.
Like, was it like augmented with other?
Well, that was actually made on an Amiga.
An Amiga.
Yeah.
Tell us how that works.
Daniel will probably tell you way more about that than we could.
I've actually never, like, that competition I brought up, there's a lot of Amiga format. That's my only real interaction with it. It uses PCM samples, so you
What does PCM mean?
pulse code modulation, I do believe.
Yeah,
That's true.
And it just plays back samples, honestly, and all those stuff, all that stuff you heard. Yeah, just, record a sample, play it back. A lot of the time, you'll hear chiptune stuff, but they just record like a sample of the square wave or something, and then play it back, and it sounds real chiptune. I guess it does count as chip. A lot of people count it as chiptune now, especially.
I count it, especially because it like really is kind of demo scene-y. Which, for those who haven't heard the term demo scene, it's I guess when making music on computers wasn't like as popular as it is today. People would make visual demos and audio demos.
It really spawned from the 80s when, I don't know if anyone's downloaded illegal pirated stuff, but in the 80s when you share your floppies or whatever, companies still want to protect their software, so they put protection on it still. And you have these people and they crack it, and what's cooler than like some 80s like hacker culture? It's where you put some splash screen up before the game boots up, and it would say, I cracked this. Yeah. Here's this crazy thing in front of me, and that I think they've groups started competing doing this thing, and eventually they'd hire a guy to do the graphics, do the sound, and then that evolved in when in the 90s into the demo scene where it's literally an art, kind of like some technique like I don't know, cyberpunk art almost. Like it's half what kind of programming stuff you can get, so you can see some crazy like in the Game Boy, Amiga, Commodore 64, all these crazy visuals and stuff that you look at and it's like that's not running on that system, but it is. And there's cool music in the background too, and all this crazy
and you have basically like hacker programmers showing up the ones that are releasing games officially. It's like you can't do graphics like that on here. I'll show you how. Sound? Yep.
I remember that I brought up Rob Hubbard in another interview. He's like, I used to get piles I'd release a game, and the day it'd come out, I'd get a pile of mail with people sending me floppy disks with showing me that they could crack my game within X amount of time. It's crazy.
I was gonna say if anybody wanted maybe slight analogy to you're talking about the crack intros and things like that. Think of maybe back in the Napster days, if some of you are old enough to remember. You get this song that you're waiting for, and then it start out with "Ripped by the Executioner," and then the song would start, and you're like, "That was 5 seconds longer than I needed."
Yeah, crack shows were basically just the visual, flashy version of that.
They're still around a little bit. You'll download. I mean, I don't pirate software, I swear, but people still do it. Nowadays in pirate software, you download something and there'll be some picture with nowadays it'll be dubstep, or sometimes they'll have chiptune stuff. As a
I've noticed it actually in a few Game Boy Advance ROMs, or I mean legally obtained backups.
Advance Wars specific.
Assuming you've purchased the game beforehand.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I just back it up onto my own flash cartridge, so I have them all on one cartridge.
So just in case you lose your legally purchased cartridges.
Exactly.
Yes.
Speaking of the demos and stuff, though, I actually do have a song that's from one of the demos on the Game Boy.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah,
we can do that.
We can do that. Yeah.
I'm just gonna do something quickly though. This is the top of the hour, so I'm gonna play this just really quickly. Hang tight.
Sure thing.
You're listening to CJSR, a volunteer-run campus and community radio station broadcasting from the University of Alberta in Edmonton, Alberta. Broadcasting through the capital region at a frequency of 88.5 megahertz with a wattage of 900. You can also stream us online at CJSR.com.
Okay. Just reiterating, top of the hour, this is CGSR 88.5 FM. The show you're listening to is called Interslice. I'm your host, your DJ, Aaron Slice. Play you eclectic electronic music from the fringe to the familiar. Tuesdays after tonight, after midnight. I'm not going to be here for a little while, but somebody else might take over and do something similar or do their own thing. Totally cool. All right, we have chipped music artists in the studio. And I'm sorry to cut you off there, slow scan Vince. We'll get back into what we were doing here.
So yeah, this song is from a demo on the Game Boy. It's called O. Just O.
Just O?
Exclamation mark.
I love this demo.
Okay. We're going to listen to it as opposed to see it, so right here on CGSR. All right. This is CJSR 88.5 FM. What did we just hear?
That was Subsonic by Zeph. He's actually out of Saskatchewan. So.
You can pull that towards if you want. So Zeph out of Saskatchewan. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Subsonic is the name of the song. And yeah, today we're just hanging out talking about chip music as the For Now finale of Interslice. And you guys were all kind enough to like pop in here and impart your excitement and knowledge and whatever tunes you want to play. It's really awesome. Okay, let's Boosh, or could we call you by your real
Yeah,
name?
we can call me Brett now.
I'm gonna call you
You can call me whatever, man.
Trevor.
Trevor?
Magical Trevor.
Magical Trevor, hell. I'll take it.
Okay, tell us about what's you got a little project that you're working on right now.
Yeah, my friend Derek Bowe, I met this guy, I think 2012. I played a show at Tubby Dog in Calgary.
Oh, I love that place.
Yeah, so good. And anyway, he had a demo there of this game he was making. It's called The Walled Garden. And we just hit it off. We've been friends ever since, pretty much. And he approached me in the new year this year, asking me if I'd do a couple songs. So I wrote a couple songs. He was stoked. So I'm like doing a couple more kind of thing. But yeah, it's great. It's a really cool game. I urge you guys to check it out. People listening, just do a search for Walled Garden indie game. It's pretty cool. It's all about like mysticism, the elements, the unknown. It's like pretty cool for what it is. And yeah, so basically, me and Hazel have been working on. Hazel's here by the way too.
I'm here, right here.
That was the mystery voice that popped in earlier. Then you get the official introduction.
Yeah.
We've been just doing a lot of synth work, using Renoise, some old synths, trying to make it sound cool. We'll play one of the songs that we wrote. This song is it's for a boss battle. There's a 40-second intro, as the swords are getting ready. The boss
Real
is
swords in it too.
Yeah, real swords. Oh yeah, next time there's sword samples, try to see if we can get those.
So this is gonna be a little bit dangerous listening here.
But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh no, for
Yeah,
sure.
we actually whipped out the sword and we went sing.
Super interactive. Every time it plays, somebody pops out with swords.
Yeah.
Well, it's crazy. The boss is
21st
it's
century.
the Three of Swords from the tarot. So you're kind of just trying to stop swords from stabbing your heart. So
Which
it's
is generally a good practice.
yeah.
Specifically the heart?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. That's kind of your life once all three. I think how it works is I haven't played the full demo of the level, but I think how it works is once all three swords have stabbed your heart, you're dead for this boss fight. But yeah, so there's basically a 40-second intro for the boss to get into its place, and then there's the sword sound effect, and then there's the start of the boss loop. Yeah, you'll figure it out.
We'll
It's pretty easy
listen
tell.
to it. Okay.
And then after that, maybe play some more, maybe slow scan or peg mode song, something like
It's in
that.
peg mode. Slow scan, peg mode.
Yeah,
for sure.
figure something out. Yeah, cool.
We got a few things queued up, ready to go. We'll just we'll do a random draw while this one's playing. So once again, this song is off of what's the game called?
The Walled Garden.
Walled Garden.
Check it out. Yeah.
Is it on mobile, PC?
It's not out yet. It's still because Derek Bowe's just doing it all by himself. All of the art, all the pixel art, all the programming. And it's and he's got, I can't remember the site, but it's for people making indie game, indiesomething.com. Yeah, if you just search Walled Garden Indie, you'll find he's got tons of stuff. And every what is it, GIF? Am I blowing it in 2017?
It doesn't matter right now. It's
okay. That's over now.
we
can all get along.
I agree that it's not called graphics, but so that's just my take.
Spell it out, GIF.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's all over the place. It looks super unique, super interesting. Lots of mechanics. Yeah.
CJSR exclusive Walled Garden boss battle.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Three of Swords.
Right here.
And that was one of my songs, Peg Mode, or Headsock by me, Peg Mode.
That wasn't Headsock.
Oh no, sorry. It was Aya.
You don't even know your own music.
I don't know it.
We did hear Headsock earlier.
So you gotta use numbers.
Same way.
See, I gotta go after your push. That was something I submitted in November to Battle of the Bits, their Commodore trilogy, and I got 6th out of like 90 or 80 something. I got in their album. And it was that was written on the Commodore 64, so it's a little different from most of the systems you've heard. Kind of sounded different, some different capabilities.
Yeah, no, it's what I understand is the Commodore has some exceptionally robust filtering effects.
It's filtering, has a ring modulator, hard sync capabilities, full ADSR envelope, which isn't on most systems.
It's essentially an analog synth.
Oh, it's an analog synth that like on a chip. Totally, yeah.
And I remember reading something that they just said, "Oh, this is way better than we ever needed," and this was like 1983 or something.
Actually, the guy that designed the chip, Robert Yanis, said that even then, that still wasn't as much as he wanted to put on it. But the guy that sort of ran the company at the time sort of rushed it out the door.
Jack Trammell.
The Jack Attack.
Jack Trammell. Yeah.
So even then, that chip technically isn't even finished, but it was still an amazing sound chip.
So did anybody ever go back to like finish it how they envisioned, or?
Actually, the guy that designed the chip left the company or left Commodore and formed his own sort of synth company in Sonic.
Okay.
And like the first synth that they released had the chip that he wanted the SID chip to be in it. So
Got to fulfill his dream.
kind of.
All right. Okay. You were going to get in some of your music. Right?
Yes, I was going to plug a bit more of my own music. This one is actually a cover / remix of a friend's song. His band project thing is called Strangers with a V. Like the Strangers, but instead of an A, it's a V. Very confusing, but...
No less confusing than a lot of other band name
Yeah.
spellings nowadays. You got people without vowels, you got people with extra vowels, extra
Yeah.
consonants.
Yeah.
You got
I think they were inspired sort of like that one band Church that replaced their U with a V.
yeah, except they flipped the A upside down and
Yeah.
Just replace all the vowels with V's and whatever. I think.
Yeah.
If not, remove them altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems to be a thing in sort of like the whole synthwave, dark pop, whatever you want to call it, genre. Anyway, yeah, this one is called Nostalgia.
All right, here on 88.5 FM CJSR, Interslace. Are you connected?
Yeah.
Excellent. There we go.
Hello, this is John Cleese. CJSR FM 88.5 is a listener-supported, volunteer-powered, democratically operated radio.
Calypso, I must go. Your love is raining, but not tonight. I need to make it back to water. You understand? I wither get dust brittle on your land. Why does it have to be that all things selfish lead the sea? You get bored with love, struggle with peace. This evaporates from like rain, and it cried, and it rose, and died. It took for me that which it lacked, but I gave it my all, so I take it back.
Welcome to CJSR 88.5 FM.
Sorry.
This show's called Interslice. I'm your host, Dirty J. Aaron Slice. I don't usually sound like that.
Dirty J.
But, yeah, I can do all kinds of weird stuff if I want to. I mean, not get too weird, like this is still public broadcasting, but it's also informal, campus, volunteer-powered, community-supported radio in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. CJSR.com. Find out how to become a volunteer. You too can act weird on the air and maybe get kicked out depending how weird it gets. Anyways, this show's called Interslice. I'm your host, DJ Aaron Slice. Last show for a little while. This is a grand finale. Chip music artists from Edmonton, roughly here. One guy was kind of not in Edmonton until recently.
Yeah, I moved here from Camrose.
Of all places.
I had to get out.
Camrose wasn't feeding your chip music, how you say, passion?
No.
No.
It wasn't feeding my anything passion.
Yeah, I imagine, hey?
Like, I love the people there, but there's nothing to do in Camrose.
They just, like, listen to your music and like, country music?
Yeah.
Country? I don't know. I haven't been to Camrose for a while.
There's a lot of people. There's actually a decent number of musicians that come out of Camrose, though. Like the one band that I covered remix and then played another one of their songs, Strangers.
Mm-hmm.
Singer Maria Joaquin is out of there. So yeah, there's a lot of talented musicians there.
That's good. How many of them actually come to town here? Maybe play some shows? You should encourage that. Get them to all come down on a bus, and we'll do a Camrose feature at one of the cool venues in town here.
Just a Camrose variety show at Bohemia.
Yeah, why not?
That works.
Yeah, let's do that.
It's a call out to all those guys from Cameras, I guess, hey?
I think there's
calling you out, brother. Yeah, the cream of the crop.
Get it, crops, because they're from, like, rural area? No, anyways.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, no, seriously, though, I think in Alberta, there's probably, like, a lot of musicians that they're not sure how to, first of all, present what they want to play to the public.
Yeah.
And maybe in the community they're in, they're like, I don't know where to do this. And, Edmonton is kind of like, wow, bigger city, one of the bigger cities in Alberta.
Mm-hmm.
I think even Canada, it's, like, still, like, a roughly million population is in the top 5 of the most populous cities in Canada. It's not saying a whole lot. Anyway, support local music no matter where you are. No matter who's doing it. Don't make fun of somebody because they're different, because different is good. That's what Arby's told us a long time ago. Not a plug, by the way. We'll get back into the meat of this right now. We're
Where are we going with this?
Okay, back to the eclectic electronic / chiptune we were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about that stuff?
Yeah.
What about that?
It's funny. It's funny that you mentioned, like, it's hard to, like, find out how you're gonna play this in front of people and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, pretty sure, like, some of my drummers asked me after playing on a floor, like, hey, would you ever, like, want a drummer? And, like, the first shows I played, I'd play with bands, and it's just, like, kid with a Game Boy, people like, fuck's this? Like, thought I was an idiot. I thought I was an idiot. But now it's like, I don't know, like not accepted. I mean, no one probably listens to like this in their car except people like us. But
Well, my problem is I currently don't have a car, but I totally would if I did. So.
Oh, there we go. Well,
It's growing though, and there's a lot of us. So, quick plug: I started a Facebook group just called Alberta Chip. We usually abbreviate it to ABC. So, if you do want to get a hold of any of us, you can find me on that.
Yeah, we're super
Or find
friendly.
any of us on that.
We also do meetups at Chaw Island.
Yep. Usually at Chaw Island, the
First Sunday?
yeah, we usually aim for the first Sunday of the month. We do meetups there, and we talk about anything from chip music to projects that we're working on to maybe getting some shows together.
And you can even just attend as a fan too,
Yep,
like I
exactly.
did. So.
Yeah, you don't have to be like making the music. If you just want to, if you're just a fan of chip music and you want to talk about, like your favorite music and how it's done, then come on
Country
down. We love
music?
meeting. We love meeting people.
Yeah, no, totally.
And if you want to make chip music and you don't know how, we'll probably
We'll
help
show you. For sure.
And it wouldn't be resembling, I have a song I can play, and it's totally a chip tune, but it's not like, check it out. Or is it, no, that wasn't it. This is a joke. It's going to happen.
Oh, what kind of hot garbage is this?
Hello, my name's Checkers. Do you know what? It's really odd. When I go to sleep at night, I dream of spuds. Oh, lovely portion of chips with salt and vinegar. I'm so in love with the potato. I really wish I were a spud.
I think
This is an accidental
actually-
find. Like, it's called Chegger's Chip Tune, and he's actually just singing about, like, potato chips.
I think this is actually giving me cancer.
Just wait till the chorus, hold on.
Covered in tomato, so gravy. Curry, mushy peas. All the way, I love me spuds.
All right, you know what we gotta do?
Okay, we're done with that.
Maybe have like a Street Fighter
Chippy,
tournament.
chippy,
Whoever
chip, chip.
loses has to cover that song. Oh, and has to put in some serious effort. Like I'm not.
Just describe
do
the
it.
chorus sample,
Yeah.
just chippy, chippy, chip, chip. And,
Yeah.
Oh
And then you're
no.
off to the races. Sounds
Oh
like.
no.
If anyone actually dug that Chegger's Chip Tune, it's an accidental find if you're looking up chip
Nobody
tune on
dug
YouTube. I know, nobody needs to know
Sorry if you
about
dug
that.
that.
Oh.
Sorry to bleed your ears.
Yeah,
I
that was
can't-
bad, man.
Yeah.
Where you find stuff like that?
Chip Tune, that's what I looked up on YouTube. That's what it brought up in one of the... Yeah.
You know, I was going to a festival in Lethbridge one time with David Ferris and Matt Wilkinson, Postnamers,
Yeah.
and we stopped at this gas station, bigger gas station, and they had these like scented air fresheners. And one of them was a piece of pizza. Gross, right? Called Tony Pepperoni. So we started singing Tony Pepperoni songs. Turns out there's a couple Tony Pepperoni songs on YouTube.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, not as good as the ones we were singing, but
Yeah.
you know.
But, I mean, it's easy to rhyme, and somebody likes to rhyme those words together.
Tony Pepperoni, Nelly Mozzarella.
I
you
knew
know?
a guy named Tony Peroni. True story.
Yeah.
Should we get back into a couple more
Yeah,
songs?
let's
or-
do what we came here for, guys.
All right.
Or let's just listen
Yeah.
to that
I got-
other song again.
I got one or two. All right, so this first one is from a guy out of Japan called No, and his name is literally just the letter N a bunch of times. And-
I know that one. Yes.
but he's got some crazy stuff. So let's throw that on.
Okay, right here on 88.5 FM CJSR Interslice.
Get in.
Pushing the sounds of them microchips.
Buddy.
That was Pig Mode.
Power.
Pig Mode. That was a song called.
No Geodudes on Mount Amber.
Right. And before that. or you could spell it with 10 N's.
Well, the way that whenever I've seen them go on stage, they always pronounce it no.
Okay.
So
it looks like
because it's just 10, the letter N 10 times.
Yeah, and you can probably, that's Googleable, I guess. You just kind of lean on the keyboard for a second, like, oh, there it is. It just popped up.
But yeah, that was the artist. The song was Les Fleurs de Mal.
Or was it that one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that means in croissant, but
yeah, I think it means like sick flowers. So, okay, I thought you had it as no, but I can, okay.
No,
cool.
The chiptune students are so funny. There's so many good ones. Have you ever heard seen Vroom Sayer? Yeah. It's so good.
think I just remembered there was one that I don't remember back announcing. Yeah, we did announce that one. Never mind. That's like way back. Anyways, you're tuned to 88.5 FM CJSR. The show is called Interslice. I'm your host, your DJ, Aaron Slice. Play you eclectic music from the French to the familiar. Usually Tuesdays, 11 to midnight. Tonight we started at 10 because this is a finale for now. And I'd like to thank my chip music guests for coming in.
Daddy, don't leave me.
Well, we got a few minutes. And if you want to sign up to volunteer, you can sit in this seat eventually. Yeah. Eventually. Give it a
Right now things are way too busy, but
yeah,
maybe.
See what happens. Anyway,
Thanks for having us, man.
Any last words from anybody?
We go to shows.
We go to shows. Yeah, seriously.
I think we first have to start putting on shows.
Oh, I don't even mean our shows. I mean just any shows.
Yeah.
Go to local shows. Go to Sewing Machine. Go to Almanac. Go to shows.
Yeah. Got
Had everybody complaining 2 years ago. There's no more venues. We can't go to any shows. I don't see anybody out. We've got like 20 venues now. What's going on, guys?
Yeah, just don't assume that it's going to be always packed. I've been to shows where literally 2 people pay at the door, if that.
Yeah.
And
well, there was the one
bands watching bands.
Yeah, that happens.
Well, there was the one that the Alberta Chip people did in August where. Our fault, we didn't really promo it as well as we could have.
I mean,
but it was like
show.
You and it was like 8 of the people there were other chip artists, and then beyond that it was like
maybe
friends.
Another 8 people.
Friends.
Really, really nice friends.
Yeah. Like my
Don't worry
sister,
about guest list, man. I'll pay you money at the door.
Like my sister came to it.
I'll watch 4 hours of Game Boys.
Yeah, there's a handful of people that will, and we have to be thankful to have these venues that will, take chances on the weird music like that, and
for sure,
and again, just you never know what you're gonna like, or you just gotta give something a chance. I mean, granted, there's a lot of artists supporting artists, which is great. There should be more motivation, I think, for the general public to get out and just check something out.
So there's a lot of love for artists in this city. I find.
Yeah, they do pretty good.
Yeah, I would say so. I would say it's it's better than where I came from, anyways. Out eastern Alberta, whatever. Yeah. So it's kind of tough because you'll find a place to get your support, and then you come here, and it's a bit bigger of a crowd for stuff that you're interested in, and yet you're still getting maybe 15, 20 people out to your show, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Just and I know sometimes money is an issue for some people, but
a lot of people are gonna waive that if you say something and message them. I know a lot of promoters are really good about that.
They just want to get bodies in the venue.
Oh yeah, and it's what they do. It's their life, Like I can't imagine people like one of the bigger promoters in the city, they book 4 or 5 plus venues.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I
can hardly book yourself sometimes.
Man, I wear the same shirt for 4 days. I mean.
Fair enough, yeah. Some people are working hard to make this stuff happen.
No, big time.
Yeah. And yeah, seriously, a lot of these people are contactable on Facebook, and fortunately and unfortunately, it is a hub on Facebook. You can start by looking up Edmonton music and arts scene, Edmonton music and live events.
Talk to Rob, man.
Talk to Rob?
Oh, from the Edmonton independent music scene.
Oh yeah.
That guy.
Oh, that one.
That guy.
Oh yeah.
Don't talk to Rob.
Yeah, that's a whole other story. I mean, we want to be inclusive, but if unfortunately, some people are just less inclusive than others, and they cause some problems, and that's unfortunate that it happened.
There's tons of good groups that you can find.
Yeah,
open to the public.
There's stuff going on every day.
There really is stuff going on all the time.
Oh yeah, totally. So. You can find about 2 or 3, 4 shows going on at night, and that's just in the small music venues.
Yeah.
Anywhere else in town too, there's a lot of just arts and music going on in general.
Yeah.
So. But all right, we got a short amount of time left. We could probably play one more song from one of you guys, if you guys want to rock scissors paper that. That's fair enough.
I can cue up one of my songs really quickly.
Yeah, in this few minutes we'll come back and say our bye-byes and.
Do you have my SoundCloud open still?
No.
Oh yeah.
So we'll just hit the back button a couple
Yeah, buddy,
times.
here.
Yeah.
I got some gold.
All right.
Some pure gold. Oh, buddy, who is? We'll see. Let's just do. Oh, buddy, I wish. We should just play this. This has nothing to do with chiptunes, but it's amazing.
What is it?
Should I be afraid?
No, I'm just kidding.
Is it electronic based?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But, well, it's sort of.
Is it 3 minutes?
No.
Sort of.
I got a short one queued up. It's like
we'll just do
2
this.
minutes.
Is it going? Yeah, there we go.
So that was my remix cover thingy of old Commodore 64 tune. The original one is called Gordian Tomb by Thomas Deter. The original one is like a 32-minute long space odyssey. It's fantastic stuff. You gotta listen to it.
All right. And yeah, before that we heard from Ultra Sid and whatever that song was called.
Yeah, I don't.
It was
I can't read
like
it.
Japanese or something.
Yeah,
I can't
read
it. I'll copy and paste it into my playlist on facebook.com/interslice music later, and then maybe someone can translate it for me. Or maybe Google can translate it.
Oh yeah, 2016,
yeah.
17. Excuse me.
It's okay. It's
live
close
in the
enough.
future, man.
Yeah, totally. The future is now. All right, I'd like to thank you guys very much for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It's been a grand finale for Interslice for the meantime. Once again, I do plan to be back at some point in some form. You can still join the page, facebook.com/interslice music, and stuff might happen. We'll see what happens.
Awesome.
Okay, so Boosh, Slow Scan, Pig Mode, and Hazel.
Hey guys.
Thanks again, guys. I just want to say, I mean, to all my listeners too, like, y'all been swell. For all the people that I know who are listening, everybody who said that, like, hey, I checked out your show, that's cool. I'm like, yeah, thanks. And then the one guy that called in the other week is like, this song is not good. Thanks for the critique. I played a song he wasn't too happy with, but that's okay. That's okay, because there's always something to please everyone and vice versa, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm going to finish off this show with the song I know I played early on that I really dug, and I think kind of just kicked off my just doing this on the air at CJSR. I'd like to thank CJSR for having me. Thanks Edmonton for having me. And, you know, I'll be back. I'm online. And if you guys want to plug your pages quickly.
I guess, well, the main one is facebook.com/Alberta Chip for all the Alberta Chip people, even the ones that couldn't make it here today. So shout outs to all of those amazing people. There's too many to list.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I guess each of us individually. I'm on SoundCloud, just soundcloud.com/slowscan.
I'm Pegmode. I'm on SoundCloud as I think the URL is soundcloud.com/pegmode_DC.
And I'm SoundCloud /Boosh AOK BOOSH AOK, and you can find the game that me and Hazel are working on the soundtrack for. If you just search Google Walled Garden indie game.
All right. And once again, thank you guys. Thank you, Edmonton. Thank you, CJSR. Until another time in the future, my friends, it has been a slice. This is the Presets and my people.
I see what you did there.
Thanks for being my people. Until next time.